Some of the biggest supporters of a Canada-U.S. free trade deal went on the offensive today.
It would become Canada's first major trade deal, but not without a long, hard fight. The world was changing, and the government saw the Canada-U.S. free trade agreement as a way to open our borders to trade and make our economy modern. It was so divisive it became the #1 issue in the 1988 election.
And go to the people of Canada and seek a mandate for this before he signs it.
I can assure my honourable friend, when I do, you'll wish I hadn't.
The agreement was ratified, and free trade was, for many, viewed as a success.
The consensus was that we had actually achieved what we wanted, which was to have a more efficient, globally oriented economy.
That didn't stop vocal critics when the push to expand saw Mexico added to the deal with NAFTA.
And you don't care about anything but making money, there will be a giant sucking sound going south.
The protest didn't stop the deal from being signed. It seemed global trade agreements would be the future. Considered a fringe movement at the time, the battle in Seattle was a violent anti-globalization protest against the World Trade Organization. It was just the first, but over the years, the concerns have become more mainstream.
I don't think anybody's talking about going back to the good old days when we made everything that we consume. But I think there is a question mark here that does appropriately link the how much of what we consume should we be producing.
It's a victory against the big merchant banks, against the big businesses, and against big politics.
The sentiment pushing the UK out of the European Union.
A total renegotiation of NAFTA, which is a disaster for our country.
In the U.S., Donald Trump leads the angry masses in an all-out war against free trade, blaming it for taking away jobs.
The first victim of recession is trade, and of course the first victim of jobless growth is the foreign worker. Yes, it's an unhappy feature of humanity that we tend to push our problems or blame our problems on others, but there it is.
Even Hillary Clinton has sounded the alarm when it comes to the Trans-Pacific Partnership.
Let me say, #1, when I saw the final agreement for TPP, I said I was against it. It didn't meet my tests. I've had the same tests. Does it create jobs, raise incomes, and further our national security?
Despite the backlash, the Canadian government remains committed to deals like CETA and TPP. But times have changed, and the discussion around trade along with it. The notion that more is always better has given way to a new debate about global trade, who wins, and more importantly now, who loses. Renee Filipponi, CBC News, Toronto.